stay-at-home dad, watching Disney movies he never had. His daughter digs through all the VHS, crushing the classics in a princess dress. Informed like Scuttle, Kurt's got your ticket, making it real like Jiminy Cricket. Most are off the Captain Hook, but if the Tweedledum, he'll be taking more shots than Bambi's mom. Leave him raised like Simba, or cracked like the beast dishes. He'll show you a whole new world, you won't need pre-wishes. Stay-at-home Disney dad.
My family will never, ever let me forget about the time in 2015 when we got our picture taken with Stitch and I didn't know where to put my hand, so I put it on his thigh. When the Me Too movement got going, people would joke that Stitch is gonna name names, so I better lawyer up. Anyways, this Lilo and Stitch 3. We start with a secret location in space. I think this is supposed to be like Star Wars-ish. The ripped shark guy, Captain Gantu, is applying for a new mission. There's a little white rabbit who's deciding if he's qualified to come out of retirement and take on this assignment or not. He says he knows where it is because it's on a planet named Earth. We get Elvis music and a beach montage. David is back and he calls over to Nanny, and the first shot we get of Nanny, the very first shot of this curvy character, is her in a bikini bending over into the car, giving the Disney pervs what they want right out of the gates with this one. The other aliens, the Pleaky and Jumba, show up, and no one has seen Lilo and Stitch. They're across the beach practicing to say hello to random people. You know, they're trying to fit in better, but Stitch always bumbles it because he's wound pretty tightly. And because he's a monster. Stitch is sad. I guess I'll never fit in. Later, Lilo brings Stitch ice cream and is like, it wasn't that bad. After you left, I got to put out the fire. She comforts him, you're like Frankenstein. Nami and David are going on a date and leaves Lilo and Stitch with the aliens as babysitters. As they walk away, Nanny's nervous, but David is like, they'll be fine. And Nanny goes, yeah, but I think the green one tries on my clothes. I don't know how I feel about that joke. No, I do know it's f***ing hilarious. Well done. There's a rumbling, and sure enough, Pleaky comes running out in a wig and dress. Pizza! That's funny. They open the door, and it's Shark Man. Lilo says, you can't fit through the door, and you can't have Stitch. Gantu, the shark, says, he's not fat, and he's not there for Stitch. He finds a crayon drawing of himself, and it says Big Dummy on it, and that's really funny. He asks the giant Jumba where the other 600 experiment parts are. Street Shark takes Jumba while everyone else hides. Stitch takes Lilo to Jumba and Pleaky's spaceship, and they take off. The giant ship was just hidden right beside the house, like in the bushes. The couple are walking back, and David is like, was that a date? Nanny says, no, we split the bill. David says, but I paid the tip. Bro, she doesn't owe you sex. I'm just saying. Be an ally, right? Hidden upside down Mickey ears. I hope I remembered to take a picture of that. And that wasn't just blank there. There's an intergalactic chase with two ships and Stitch going nuts. And Lilo is like, you had coffee today, didn't you? Stitch's plane gets shot down, but they're okay. David is dejected. He's watching TV by himself at home. Bro, she still doesn't owe you sex because you tipped. Stitch is back home looking for Pleaky. He's hiding in a chest like a coward. They find out what Street Shark was after. Pleaky was hiding a weird globe thing that is full of illegal genetic experiments. It's the other 625 experiments. Since Stitch was 626, that's fun attention to detail. The pods are dehydrated. If they were to get wet, they would all become Stitches. You also can't feed them after midnight, apparently. As soon as Pleaky is out of the room, Stitch and Lilo are in the globe looking for a Stitch that can help recharge the ship. I guess each of these have like a different special power. Experiment 221 can do it, so they take out the pod and they drop it in the tub, and we get like a Pikachu, this like yellow guy's all electricity, he bounces around the room. The shark brought one pod back to the rabbit who's channeling Monty Python for some reason, and they figure if they can activate this pod, they can use it to find where the others are. The rabbit is trying to torture Jumba into talking, but he won't, so they go in a new direction. They toss their pod 625 into the water, thinking this alien will come to life and kill Jumba. It's a yellow Stitch They wait to hear him scream and beg for mercy, but instead, Jumba and Yellow Stitch are just making sandwiches. Pause for laughter. Is it Jumba or Jamba? I don't know. Back on Earth, Lilo and Stitch are still trying to capture Pikachu. Lilo stumbles onto a campout with all her friends, something she wasn't invited to. Ouch. All the girls are like, we're sick of you, Lilo. Shark's Yellow Stitch is obsessed with sandwiches, and that's funny, I guess. There's a phone call between the rabbit kidnapper and Pleakley. They want the other 625 or now 624 experiments in exchange for their pal Jumba. They call Cobra. This guy's back. He's on top of it all. He's like, when they call back, let's make the trade. And then he cracks his neck. Awesome. He tells them all not to take further action. Lilo and Stitch now have to find Pikachu because they agreed to return all of the experiments and no one else knows that one now is missing. We get the Tommy Gunn theme, and my God, have you ever heard the remix of this and the Police's Every Breath You Take? It was on the Sopranos soundtrack back in 1999. So good. Unreal. Anyway, montage of them looking for Pikachu. They go to a hotel that everyone is running out of and screaming, and Lilo goes, this looks promising. They trap Pikachu in a vase or a vase. Stitch bonds with the captured Pikachu, like they become friends or alien brothers, and Stitch doesn't want to hand him over. Cobra gets the phone call, and they're off to the rendezvous point, a lighthouse that hasn't been lit in years because it's too costly. And if only there was... It's like weird we have a one made of electricity, right? A hamster wheel is the name of the little mouse. Did I hear that correctly? They go to make an exchange Jumba for the experiments, but yep, the bad guys count and only 623 are in the globe. It gets tense, but then Lilo and Stitch show up with a missing experiment. They say, who is this? Cobra says, a little girl who is a giant pain in the butt. She won't hand Pikachu over. She lets Sparky loose, and this Stitch is going nuts. They end up saving Jumba, but the bad guys are getting away with all the other experiments. But Sparky and Lilo and Stitch get aboard the bad guys' plane as it takes off. Inside, they play keep away with the globe thing. Lilo tosses it out the window into space, and all the pods are free. And 623 experiment pods rain down onto Earth, and they all end up in the ocean. They all agree, this is very bad. That was a pretty funny moment. Shark Guy captures Lilo and Stitch, and they're in prison on the ship. Sad moment. White Rabbit comes to clone Stitch, and he's going to do it by cutting him in half. They're interrupted by the other Stitch, Sandwich Stitch, who is trying to order bologna to, you guessed it, make a sandwich. It's the distraction they needed in Stitch. The regular one gets out of jail and slaps White Rabbit in his restraints, then goes and saves Lilo, but he doesn't get there in time, and she is teleported just to another pod, like a few feet over, on the same ship. The Sandwich Stitch voice actor is really familiar, but I looked him up and I don't know who it is. He uses his electricity to make grilled cheese sandwiches. That's fun. The ship returns to Earth, and it's Lilo and Stitch and Pikachu and the White Rabbit, who's been captured and restrained. They need to give Pikachu something to play with that could take a lot of electricity. What could it be? What could it be? Any guesses? It's the lighthouse. The good lady thing says, with all the experiments roaming Earth, they will have to evacuate and destroy the planet. They complain. She agrees that if Lilo and Stitch can find all 623 experiment pods, and if they can find and return them all, then she won't nuke Earth. Lilo says, no problem. And there's a montage of them all getting wet and coming to life. Lilo tells Stitch, come on, we have 623 cousins to find. And they speed away. Credits. Was what it was. Needed more Elvis.
That's what I think about.
What do you think?
What we have is a concern about Curtis Anderson. His interviewing style is not the best. His personal appearance is not the best. I was wondering if the man has some kind of a hold over the channel that he's allowed to be employed for so long with the standards of journalism and personal appearance that he has. Thank you.